Hey! Ha ha! Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the most electrifying podcast in sports entertainment. Welcome to Under the Ring. I am your boy, who is also still a world champion because I didn't lose my belt at this goddamn Rumble that just happened, which we will be talking about. I am your boy, the silverback booger wolf, your boy Ken White, your boy Ken Dango Almas. Joining me as usual, our producer who was behind the scenes, who is coming back as soon as he is absolutely ready. Our boy, the one, the only, Mr. Greg who? Greg Bush. Joining us, a member of the UTR team who rarely gets a chance to shine because he's out there putting the grime work in. He's out there doing the street team work. If you see a sign anywhere in NYC with the logo UTR, it's because of this man right here. Give it up for our own Puerto Rican Bronson Reed, our boy Giuseppe Mantequilla Tito.
Yeah.
For those of you chilling, brother, we miss you here on the podcast, on the show, man.
I know. It's fucking work.
I know, Reggie. We see you. Thank you for the check-in, as always. Thank you for the check-in. We're gonna have the rest of the crew hop on, and probably just a few. Everybody running a little late. You know how we do. But before anybody gets on the show, let's just get into some. Let's just get into some wrestling, folks. Wrestling facts here, folks. I think the main thing that's been going on the past couple of days that's been the big buzz, of course, has been the firing. Hold on, I don't know if you guys got the chance to see that. The firing of someone who technically didn't work for WWE. Mr. Shane, here comes the money. McMahon, and as you see across the bottom of the screen, Shane McFuck up. Now listen, I'm not gonna lie to you. The best part of Shane was his song and the fact that your man came out in a fresh pair of J's all the time. I can't deny that. That was cool. But apparently, first of all, before Shane even got fired, there was a lot of heat on Shane because Shane particularly was one of the producers of the men's Royal Rumble match, which happened this past weekend, and people weren't too happy about the outcome. Not so much the outcome of how the flow of the men's Royal Rumble match went. We'll definitely get into that a little bit later but we know Shane actually, since he was producer for that, he booked himself into the Final Four. And there was no reason for Shane to be in that Final Four. Absolutely not. Not when you have talent the way you do right now in WWE. For Shane to be in that Final Four was absolutely pitiful. Supposedly,
McMahon.
Listen, being a McMahon means nothing because he has the same last name and his ass still got fired. His ass still got fired.
My bad for all the noise. I got me some Girl Scout cookies in today, and these shits is delicious. Shout out to my people from the North Atlantic Funko Fiends. I'm gonna be like tripling my dose of my diabetes pills for the next couple of days.
But Shane actually booked himself deep into the Royal Rumble match, and then on top of that, there were plans for Shane to actually compete for the championship at WrestleMania. Who in the hell would have wanted to see that? And joining us from Louisville, Kentucky, our boy, the memeologist, the Maurice's baby daddy, our boy Matty Reigns. What's going on, Matt?
What's up, y'all? It's
We're
cold as
talking
hell.
about who you telling? Hey, yo, where the fuck we been? We had to take listen, we gotta take a couple of days off sometimes, we gotta catch up on stuff. We got things to do, but don't worry.
I had a birthday to celebrate, so
Right. Like let's be happy before let's keep it,
Hey man,
ladies
hey
and
man, you
gentlemen.
celebrating all week, baby. You've been celebrating
Happy
all week. Happy
belated
birthday,
birthday
brother.
to our boy Matty Reigns. This man was turning up for the Rumble, which was on his birthday.
right. I ain't had it on my birthday when it was on a Sunday. I ain't had it on my birthday on a Saturday now.
The Rumble is your day.
Basically, the Rumble is my day. And
Rumble,
NWO and our people won the Rumble, so
right? The Rumble is our day. What you call it? We were talking about Shane being let go, and how there was also heat on Shane due to the fact that he booked himself so deep into the Rumble. Uh, like I said, there was no reason for Shane. There was no reason for Shane to even be in the Rumble.
it really wasn't.
There are more than enough. There are more than enough wrestlers who could have filled that 30 spots. And usually the Royal Rumble is reserved, even with spots out there, it's usually reserved for like a nostalgic purpose or something like that. Something that gets the crowd going, like, oh, I haven't seen this guy in a while. Look who it is. Shane was the last person anyone expected.
I would have preferred Veer to finally fucking appear.
Right.
He ain't never coming.
Whoa. Let's not say that because my man Veer was on Main Event.
He was on Hulu.
My man Veer was on Main Event. So Veer came just not in the right spot.
Basically, he came in the wrong place.
He came in the wrong entrance. But
yes, Veer pre-came on Main Event.
Yes. Shane McFuck. All right. Yes. Veer was a dark match here in Cincinnati on Monday. Whew. That is serious. But Shane booked himself deep, then booked himself to they were supposed like I was saying, they were supposed to be Shane pretty much winning the Royal Rumble, I guess, and then because he was gonna challenge Seth for the title. Like the original plans was for Shane versus Seth for the title at WrestleMania.
I don't know what the plan. There's been so many different scenarios because remember at one point, well, Shane. The bad part about it was Shane was the only surprise. There were no other surprises.
Right. That was the total fuck up about that. Like I said,
that was the bad thing about it. And I wasn't mad about it because at the same time, the roster is, even though we talk about them firing so many people, the roster is deep enough where you don't need to have a legend. You don't need to have an NXT person pop up. They had enough people. So if Shane is the only person out of 30 people to show up, I'll take it. Him going deep, no. He did not need to be in the final 4. He did not need to be in the final 5. He could have been 10, being eliminated number
early.
10. He should have been that first. He should have been in the top 10 at least. I would have been satisfied with that. Him eliminating Kevin Owens, no, because instantly people are like, "Oh, they're restarting that." No, it's just
Shane booking himself to look like a fucking superstar when we know he isn't. Like Shane eliminating anyone, it was a goddamn crock of shit. There's no he shouldn't have eliminated anyone. He shouldn't have been in the match.
He shouldn't have been in the match, and if he was, it should have been either Shane or Bad Bunny, but not both. You don't need both of them. You need one or the other, and I would have just took Bad Bunny.
I'd take Bad Bunny over Shane any goddamn day.
I would have just took Bad Bunny and been like, all right, number 29. Couldn't have been Finn Balor because he's still out of the country. But anybody, NXT person, anyone, over Shane McMahon. I don't know if he was supposed. It's been so many scenarios where Shane was supposed to fight Seth. Riddle was supposed to win, but then people say Riddle was never supposed to win. All we know is Brock won. He's going to WrestleMania. Did Brock need this win? Not really.
Maybe.
But it furthers the story. It makes the story even more interesting, and it got even more interesting the next day.
Well, not to cut you off or interject, wasn't Walter in the back? There were a lot of people in the back. Supposedly, they even had Taker in the area.
Taker was there visiting.
He was there supporting Mrs. Taker.
What you call it?
There was at one point the plan was before Roman straight up murdered Seth Rollins that Seth was going to be in the match. Seth died, so he wasn't going to be out there. He broke that chair off on him. So
he killed him.
They could have had Randy. They could have had we had Randy. They could have had Edge, Miz. They didn't pull double duty.
Right.
Braun Breaker.
They could have had Braun.
They could have
had Ciampa. Out of the country, so that's why Finn's not even. He's still on vacation.
They could have had Tommaso. They could have had. Like you said, the entire NXT roster was.
Anybody could have. They could have went from Florida. They could have gone on a plane and went from Florida or a private jet. Vince got money. They could have gone a private jet and went from Florida to St. Louis and been right back home. And none of us would have been mad because it's an NXT person showing up. We've been like, okay, we're used to that. So we're like, okay, they're just going to get a little taste of the main roster.
But nope.
Saying they had to win. They just don't waste it on someone like Shane. And now Shane got fired, which is funny in itself because how does someone that doesn't even have a job for WWE get fired?
That's exactly how I led into that. How'd you get fired on your day off, Craig?
Like you don't even work there. You're just the boss's son.
How do you get fired on your day off, Craig?
How do you get fired and you don't work there?
That is one of the funniest parts about the whole scenario. The fact that Shane, like you said, supposedly doesn't work there, but yet got fired. If Shane doesn't work there, then that's another thing. If Shane didn't work there, why did he have an input on the match?
Only because he's helped out in the past. But even then, I can see, like, part of the way I see it is Shane was in there. I felt like Shane was probably making sense. And they looking like, how dare you make sense? Because WWE at some point, at every week, we're saying, oh, this doesn't make any sense. Why'd they do that? Shane was probably in there like, why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? Well, why is that happening? You know what, Shane? Shut up. Go. Go.
Well, I was hearing, though, that Shane got a lot of people mad because of how he was booking himself and how he was only concerned of how he looked within the Rumble. So that's what was causing a lot of people that caused them a lot of heat backstage. That's what I saw. I saw that they were really focusing on the fact that Shane was legit focused on himself.
Right.
So, like, Shane shouldn't be anywhere near ring. Let's be realistic. Not to interrupt, but where's the teacher, man? Oh, okay. We are not sure, but we don't think that our boy Mr. Mike Jones will be joining us today. But if you can, we would like for all of our podcast listeners and fans, please send all the positive vibes and all the big love that you can towards Mike and his family right now as they deal with a death within his family. So we're unsure if Mike actually will be coming on today, but definitely keep him in your thoughts and your prayers. Mike, you all know how we feel about you, brother. Take your time. You're here tonight. You are. If not, don't worry about it.
Hopefully you're warm wherever you're at. Because the snow is coming down in Cincinnati. And shout out to the Bengals for making the Super Bowl. Damn you, Bengals, for beating my Titans. But at least y'all making the loss not as bad. If you're going to beat the Titans, at least make it to the Super Bowl. Now win the damn thing. something. Just keep it going.
Man, fuck the Bengals, fuck the Rams. Let's keep it going with wrestling.
That's how I feel, honestly.
Straight like that.
So,
Everybody
See.
ties.
Y'all see,
I was
y'all
at work
see.
when I seen that your team lost, and I'm like, damn, my boy Kenny.
Fuck the Bengals, fuck the Rams. I don't give a damn who team it is. I don't give a fuck who likes them. Fuck them. 49er Nation over here, all right? I'm not rooting for neither one of them motherfuckers. I hope everybody ACLs get torn on the fucking playing field. How about that one? All right? Fuck them. Now, back to wrestling. But besides Shane being a big piece of news, the other piece of news this week has been your boy, the Brian Kendrick.
It's crazy.
Whoo! The
man with the conspiracy theories.
The man with the no job because he doesn't know how to fucking keep. I've said this time and time and time and time again on this podcast, in the chats that we've had. Wrestlers need to stay away from social media. If you're not doing a legit work
Wrestling interview,
right? Work. Even if you're doing a promo against someone else and you put it on social media that way, that's fine.
And what happened with Brian Kendrick was apparently, well, he got his release. He had asked for his release from WWE about 7 to 8 weeks ago. Then he got quietly released, and then he was promoted to be on Dynamite. Wrestling Twitter, which is an awesome place to live at because I love to stay on Wrestling Twitter. I get a lot of my memes from there. I get a lot of my templates from there.
Mm-hmm.
Someone decided to find they found out. I don't really listen to wrestling interviews and stuff like that when they do that sort of junk. So apparently he did an interview a few years back before he was deep. While it was basically after he got released, the second time or whatever, the first or second time, and he was just basically giving his input on different conspiracy theories, and he brought up one about a very horrific event in world history. You might have heard of it, called the Holocaust. And he basically said that he believes the theory that it was all faked, and that the people that were affected in that, you know who they are. Everyone knows what the Holocaust is. I'm not even going to say their names. It says that the people that were affected lied their way into the country and a whole bunch of other junk. He also believes in lizard people, which I don't really care about that. Lizard people is harmless, but the Holocaust was the main thing. And it just piled on that everything started coming out yesterday. It started coming out. I showed Mongo, and Mongo was like, is that real? And then he saw who said it, who released it. He was like, oh, that is real. And slowly, as the time, it got later in the day on Wednesday, the next thing you see is Mr. Tony Khan saying, we've seen the comments that Brian Kendrick has said. We do not agree with those. And he will not be showing up he will not be in AEW, and he will not be showing up tonight versus Jon Moxley. We will be finding a replacement
ASAP. Wheeler to the top.
And last night as AEW was on, he decided to tweet out saying that he was sorry and that those were not his thoughts and views, which is bullshit because he doubled down on the shit multiple damn times in interviews. He went in depth on these interviews about how this stuff was not real and it didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as someone who has been, I don't know if anybody else has been, I've been to the Holocaust Museum. It ain't cool. That stuff definitely happened. So he's got to shut his mouth up. You said something that you didn't need to say, but you can't sit up here and say you didn't say it and that you didn't believe it. You doubled down on it.
several times.
You tripled down on it. You said it in a recorded interview. And the funny thing about all of this is someone tweeted, I wonder if that's why Paul London stopped fucking with him. Paul London liked the tweet. That's exactly why Paul London stopped fucking with him. So, Brian Kendrick, the man with the no job. You've lost 2 jobs in 1 week. Not even 1 week. In 1 day.
Yo, your man is. We used to tease him and be like, "That's meth Kendrick." Yeah, you gotta be to do the dumb shit that you just did. Like, and that's another. Like I said, man, wrestlers. If you are going to put your conspiracy theories or whatever they are on the internet, don't use your wrestling handle. All right, make up another name. Or
if you're trying to be a wrestler, remember, erase. Just erase your account and start over.
Completely.
Because going like you had Billy Gunn's son. They found old tweets of him saying the N-word. Then they will go back and look at your tweets because a lot of these wrestlers, they keeping them same Twitter accounts that they had back when they were teenagers instead of just killing that shit off and just having a brand new one. Or get like your boy Kevin Durant and get you a burner account.
Right. Easy money sniper.
Brian Pillman was on there talking about sucking toes and some other junk on there.
Hey, listen.
He got close to saying some racist stuff, and that someone made a joke on Twitter saying Brian Pillman was getting ready to bring out his cancel culture hoodie, and then he saw Kendrick get fired, and that made him shut up
immediately before they eat because they already know they waiting to get rid of you, Brian. You better be quiet. The only thing I applaud AEW for what they did. Who gives a fuck about Punk? We'll talk about CM Punk. I don't fuck CM Punk. The only thing I applaud AEW for was how swiftly they responded to the allegations with Brian. Well, it's not allegation to what happened with Brian Kendrick. Okay, I applaud them for that. What I don't applaud is Tony Khan being the one to make the statement. AEW needs to hire some PR people.
They really do.
AEW needs to hire some PR people because Tony Khan does not need to actually comment on every last thing that goes on.
President, he's everything. When I'm like, so what is the point of having all these other people in the company if you're not going
the 20 EVPs?
The 20 EVPs that are not named Cody, because Cody isn't one. Like, I understand if Kenny Omega and the Bucks aren't going to be saying anything, but like Kenny said, you gotta have someone who is not a wrestler, not involved, and just get a PR person to slap up a statement. I can do it. I know how to sound professional.
Like if you think WWE, if you think Vince McMahon is the one releasing that tweet, we wish you the best in your we wish you well in your future endeavors. You are absolutely fucking wrong. There is a PR team. Everything does not need to have Tony Khan saying it. It does not need to have Tony Khan saying it. Like, dude, stop.
And then the bad part about that with it, like as good as like they did everything correct, but notice how fast, because I'm still irritated with that. Notice how fast he was quick to act on that, but when he flew off at the mouth about Swole, his ass ain't said shit since then. He hadn't. They just act like that didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
But you let Brian Kendrick. Brian Kendrick hadn't even been there. That was hours. That literally lasted like 6 hours.
Mm-hmm.
We saw that stuff. We saw that crap at like 2:00 in the afternoon, and by 6:00 he was gone, and they were finding a replacement.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Come on now.
like I said, Tony Khan needs to. Someone asked what Tony Khan said. Tony Khan didn't say anything bad. He just said that we don't agree with Brian Kendrick's statements and remarks.
Yeah, thank you, Mongo. Thank you.
Thank you. Uh, we were made aware of the statements and remarks made by Brian Kendrick. So yeah, he just pretty much said that they don't agree with it, which is okay, but the right thing to say. But dude, stop. But he needs a person speaking up for the company. Yes, he does need a person to speak for. He needs him.
Honestly, he should have, instead of saying that on his account, he should have just, whoever runs the AEW account, they could have just put that out as a general tweet on the AEW account, and didn't have to put anything under. He just said, "Hey, we seen his comments. We here at All Elite Wrestling do not agree with his comments. Therefore, he will not be in the match tonight. We are at the moment currently trying to find a replacement. It will be announced by 7 p.m. tonight, or it'll be announced on Dynamite tonight. Be sure to watch at 8 p.m. on TBS. Thanks."
Side note, I'm also looking at the comments too as we're talking, and I'm reading a comment. We had this conversation before you jumped on. Side note, why Gresham looked like a Oompa Loompa a year after signing up for Gold's Gym. John, you must be watching Impact, and Jonathan Gresham is a very tiny man, because before we came on the air, I legit was telling Tito and Margo that Jonathan Gresham looked like Kevin Hart on steroids.
Oh.
He's the size of a dirty sock. Man is mad little. Boy,
I mean, where else is he going to be able to spend time with his wife? She always lifting, so he got no choice but to go to Gold's Gym.
Right. Considering all the stuff with the Jags, I'm wondering just how bad Tony really is at the. Listen, Tony Khan needs to stay off social media.
He's the same person that when he got into it with a player that was asking to be traded and was on Twitter going at it, and he decided to respond to the player and had a whole back and forth with them.
For what? What sense did that make?
Exactly.
None. Absolutely none. Tony Khan needs a PR person to tell him, shut the fuck up, I got this. But that's enough of those. That's enough of Tony Khan. AEW got rid of Brian Kendrick. What's going to happen for him after that? Who the hell knows?
Lay low and wait for the next big time scandal to pop up so you can reappear.
Quite a few people.
Yo, not for nothing. I think that shit was strategically placed because being how old that was. Because remember, he got released Monday? And then they announced Tuesday he was going to be on Dynamite. And then Wednesday they put that shit up. I think WWE buried that shit. And they said, oh, you going to Dynamite? All right, we're going to fuck your shit up too. Bye.
Why not? I don't blame them. If they did do that, kudos. Oh, yeah. Harlan?
Yeah, he got thrown out of AEW.
Yeah. That's exactly what AEW did to Brian Kendrick.
Yeah, that plop was his career going down. Plop.
Thank you, Margo, with the video and the rewinding it like Jazz from fucking Fresh Prince.
He went.
Some other major news. We have quite a few people who were released that their no compete clause is now officially over. So they are officially free agents. That will be Karrion Kross, Keith Lee, Ember Moon, Oney Lorcan, Grand Metalik, Lindsay I Got These Hands Dorado, Mia Yim, Harry, who even knew I still wrestled Smith, Eva Marie, and my baby, Naya.
She signed with a modeling agency.
I know she did with her fine ass. You know I follow. I'm sorry, Lena.
She said she done with wrestling. She
Right.
ain't fucking with wrestling no more.
She
I
said
don't blame her.
right. Supposedly they WWE gave her a call to come back for the Rumble when she told them fuck no.
I don't blame her.
Oh, you want to throw hands? Whoa, wait a minute now. Oh, you want to throw some hands?
I read that completely wrong. Like I want to throw hands with Lindsay. Like, yo, what?
Nah. I read exactly what she wrote, and that's why I said, "Hey, whoa, okay, listen."
Yeah.
That's between you and Lindsay. I ain't got nothing to do with you, you know.
Nah, I'll take Lindsay versus the GOAT, unique GOAT.
I don't know. That might be
GOAT at UFC.
That might be. Listen, I don't know, man. Lindsay versus Unico. That might be a hell of a goddamn. Somebody getting knocked down in the first 30 seconds. I know that much. Somebody getting knocked out.
Well,
but
your man TJP welcomed him back and said, "Welcome back, free agency."
Well, we might see Lindsay and what you call it?
Not AEW.
As far as I was just getting ready to ask that too, Margo. Thank you for bringing that up. Where do we see each of these stars going? Well, Karrion Kross, he's gonna make money off the indie circuit.
Mm-hmm.
Serious money off the indie circuit. I don't think he even has to sign with a company, and he's gonna make a ton of dough. All right, because a lot of people.
He's booked for tomorrow to face the Samoan Werewolf.
Right. So he's already. He can just do the gambit and run this and run through every promotion and make bread that way, and he'll be quite all right. He doesn't have to sign with anybody. If Chanel is smart, he keeps Cross and Scarlett around GCW. You're right. If he's smart, that can happen.
PWG, GCW.
Right. What you call it? Keith Lee. To me, Keith Lee's only choice is he has two choices: NWA or Impact.
Impact.
Those are his two choices for me. Either
and
NWA
Mia's gonna follow him wherever he goes, probably.
Right. Me definitely gonna follow him wherever he goes. But Keith, AEW ain't the move. As of right now, AEW has not proven that they can book a African American superstar properly besides Jade.
Also, they don't go there because look at what they did with Brian Cage and Ethan Page.
Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Then Brandy said yesterday, what the fuck she said on her promo yesterday? That they only grabbed him because they were trying to get Josh Alexander too.
Yep, probably. I want Keith an Impact because I want Mia pulling some gangster shit on Jordan. Listen, that'll be. And you know what? Impact would be a great place for me and Yim because I don't know if we mentioned it on air before, but from what I've said and from what I've seen, me and Yim works better in a situation where she can have wrestling matches with men. I feel like when she's wrestling with females, she slows down a lot more because she's used to taking harder bumps with men, so she goes a little bit harder with guys. So some of Mia's best matches have been with men. Like during her women's run in WWE, she had a couple of good matches, but it wasn't anything outstanding. But if you go back and look at some of the stuff that she was doing before she came in,
she's like Candice LeRae.
Right. Candice LeRae 100% worked better in intergender matches than she did in regular matches. Right.
And shout out to Johnny Gargano also for saying I'm not taking no bookings until Candice has the baby.
And then here's the thing. I just saw that. You said that match with Candice was sick. But look what I just said. It was two women who are used to having harder hitting matches with men. so they know just how rough and hard they can get. They know, okay, I can slam her down because she's used to getting slammed by Shelton Benjamin or whoever the case may be.
Cedric Alexander.
Right, Cedric Alexander broke Candice LeRae back in half. Okay. All right.
He gave 0 fucks.
Right. Gave 0 fucks. Broke her fucking back in thirds. Okay. A match with Mia and Sammy, that would be definitely a good match. That definitely would be a good match. But Keith Lee, Impact, or like I said, NWA. That's what I think. Ember Moon. Ember Moon.
NWA.
Yeah.
NWA.
I was gonna say NWA. NWA for Ember Moon. Personally, I'm not a fan of Ember Moon.
She got hurt too many times for me.
She got hurt too many times, and then when she came back, she was so reckless. She was so reckless. It was unbelievable. I forgot what match we were watching, and when she first came back, I was like, "Yo, what the hell is wrong with her? Like, does she not know this is fake?" I couldn't deal with Ember, so I can care less. My boy, right? One of the tag team matches. Josh probably pulls out an ankle. Josh probably pulls out ankle locks in his bed. Well, nope. He doesn't, because in Josh Alexander with his family, his son hit him in the nuts after he won the championship in his house. So Josh Alexander's getting beat up like every other dad in his household when it comes down to that shit.
Right.
Ember
straight headbutt to the nuts.
Right. Terrible. Ember Train Ron. Don't even get me started on that. My boy, Oni Larkin. Oni. Where do I want to see
New Japan?
Yeah.
Oni. Yeah, he'd be great for the New Japan Pro Wrestling of America, the one over in California.
New Japan, was it Strong?
Yeah. NJPW Strong.
Yeah.
Yep. Oni would
throw him in with United Empire.
Oni would be best off at. Oni needs to be on. You know what? I would love to see Oni go back to NXT, even with this new 2.0.
Because he's still fairly young. He can fit in there.
Right. If you got Ciampa still walking around there, you can have fucking Oni Lorcan still walking around. Ciampa and Roddy are both still walking around there with gray hair.
And LA Knight is just LA Knight.
Right. So you could have had Oni in there. And yeah, NWA. That's it. That's the only place I would. Yeah. Grand Metalik. Roddy. Hey, what's wrong with being 40, you fucktard? What's wrong with being 40? Huh? Fuck you, Mongo. Fuck you. My man, Gran Turismo and Lance Doritos.
They gonna reunite and be Lucha. Well, they ain't gonna be Lucha House Party because that's trademark. But they gonna be something about a party and Lucha.
Yeah, they
AEW.
Going back to Mexico.
No, they going to AEW. They're going to the AEW. I can tell you that right now. They are definitely going to AEW because for some odd reason, tag teams think that they are getting shine in AEW because they have 157 matches on Dark.
No, they ain't going to AEW. Remember how they did how they did Kalisto about Brody?
Yeah.
They ain't going there.
Oh, yeah.
They ain't going to AEW about that bullshit.
Oh, yeah. I forgot when they got on Kalisto for misspelling Brody's name. Right.
They ain't going there. Kalisto, we ain't seen Kalisto since then.
Pretty much. Kalisto's probably going to join bare knuckle fighting.
With Gentleman Jack.
Right. Kalisto's probably going to go to bare knuckle fighting and knock everybody out in 20 seconds. Yeah, he damn sure can kick Gentleman Jack's ass. Am I bugging? Oh no, okay. I was wondering why on Impact I saw a WWE clip, but then I remembered that
You talking about the Rumble?
Hardcore Country was at the Rumble. I forgot about that. We'll get to that in 1 second. Harry Smith, don't give a fuck where he lands.
He'll probably go back to New
in
Japan.
Japan. Eva
Yeah.
Marie,
She'll probably be doing something.
all right.
She's gonna open up that OnlyFans again.
LA Knight is younger than Roddy by what? A couple of months.
I was gonna say a day.
What? Like, because you can't tell me LA Knight is anything younger than fucking 39. I don't care what you say. Nia, we already know she's not wrestling again.
Right.
So
She said, fuck that shit.
fuck that completely. Before we get into talking about the Royal Rumble, what I do want to talk about is something wonderful that happened yesterday. A year and no way.
Damn.
Roddy, no way. No way LA Knight's that much. But
Roddy is that much older and that much more talented.
Right. Yesterday something magical happened, and it happened twice in one match. MJF beat CM fucking Punk.
Okay.
MJF beat CM Punk twice in one match. Hot diggity damn.
And Kenny King is back in Impact. Even better.
Right. Absolutely correct. But the fact that I said this from the beginning, if MJF didn't go over in this was a complete waste.
Right.
All right. If MJF didn't go over, this was a complete waste. I'm not a big CM Punk fan. I hate him. We all know that. So this made my heart feel good to watch him lose, especially since the fact that he hasn't lost since he's been here. He hasn't lost since he's been here, and for him to lose twice in one match, perfect. And yes, it was a dirty win, but that's what a heel is supposed to do.
That's what MJF is. He don't win clean. He don't do nothing clean besides cheat. But yeah, I was happy with MJF beating. Yeah, clock is that. I'm glad that's really the only time that ring is even put to use or even relevant out of the 3 years he's had it. It
pretty much
it puts MJF. It helps him. He gets a signature win. It makes him. I don't even know what's the point of that ring anymore. Every year, the first year when MJF won it, I could have swore I was like, okay, he's going to get a title shot. I don't even think he's challenged for the title at all, from what I can remember. And then all these other 2 years where he challenged for it have been absolutely pointless. I feel like it's time for someone else to have that ring. But we'll see we'll see this year or he'll get a four-peat.
He hasn't went for a title since he went against Mox.
Good Lord. It's time for them.
The agreement against that match with Mox was Mox couldn't use his finisher.
Oh yeah, the paradigm shift.
Yeah.
So that's unfortunate. Like MJF, but at the same time, people compare him to The Miz. He is a character that really doesn't need a title. But at some point in time, you're going to have to put a title on him. Either him and Wardlow are going to have to win the tag titles, or he's going to be TNT champion, or he's going to be AEW champion. Maybe at some point they build him up to the point that he could be the person that beats Hangman. But eventually, something's going to have to happen. Something's going to have to happen with MJF. And with Punk putting him over the way he did, he's getting closer and closer to that point. Because this tour, this little nostalgia act that CM Punk has been doing has been great and all, but it hasn't really, to me, it has not been hitting. Like he came back, that was nice. He's had his matches.
It's lost his feeling already.
Yeah, it's old now. Like, oh, here comes you hear cult the person.
It's rinse repeat. He comes out, does a commentary. Or he comes out the next week, does an interview. He comes out next week, faces a fucking dark jobber.
So like, now he has to start doing stuff. Like you're not Bryan Danielson. We know he can wrestle. Now it's like you got to start putting people over. And even Bryan Danielson gets to a point where he's like, okay, I'm not gonna hog all of this time. I'm gonna show up when I need to show up. CM Punk is literally just going out there to get cheers, and that's about it. Because he already knows no matter what he says, no matter what he does, the crowd is going to eat it up. Because there are way more people that love Punk than it is that hate him. I used to like him. I don't really care for him. I don't really care for him anymore. And it's not even.
I mean, I'm happy he's back. I want to see more from it now. Like, okay, you're back. Do something. Show us why you came back.
Right. Like now, it's just like
give us the matches we want to see you have. Like face one of the Young Bucks. Wrestle against one of the Lucha Bros.
Make your contract worthwhile.
Give us something, right? This MJF shit was nice. Let's move on from it. Which I know they're not. They're gonna face it probably again at Revolution.
Right. And Mongo said,
I think
if you've had comments blocked, apologies. They had auto moderator on for some reason, but I don't think anybody's comments were blocked. But he's just letting y'all know right now. But yeah, I'm ready for MJF to move on and do something else. So does MJF lose to Punk and we get a 3-match rivalry? I would not be shocked if we do. They might have they have something that
they're definitely going to face again at Revolution.
Yeah, and then they'll probably have one big time match at either a special Dynamite or they'll have it at Double or Nothing if we have Double or Nothing in 2022, actually in Las Vegas, because I think the second one they never even got to go to Vegas.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to.
I think the next thing too with MJF, I think that they're already planting the seeds for Wardlow to dip too from the Pinnacle.
Yeah, and I forgot all about that group because they kind of took a back seat after they were done with the Inner Circle. They're like, oh yeah, we don't care about the Pinnacle anymore. We just needed to have a group to face off against the Inner Circle, and the Inner Circle should have been falling apart. They're just now starting to start that, and they should have broke up last year.
Pretty much after that fucking, what was that? The Blood and Guts or Guts and War?
Yeah, Blood and Guts. They didn't break up. They had them fight again. I think they fought at Stadium Stampede. They should have broke up. They should. Yeah, LAX. I need them to get back to their LAX shit and start fucking people up.
Yeah, because right now they're not doing nothing, and I think that pisses me off so much with those two guys.
Because they're not being proud or powerful. They're being held back, and I need them. They should have been one of those tag titles. Exactly. I need LAX to be effing LAX. It's because they were going off in Impact. If anything, bring them back to Impact. Kenny's back.
Yeah, sorry about that, y'all. I had to.
You are.
For some reason, the Popeyes that I had was not doing my stomach any justice, so I had to get rid of that. Sorry about it.
It was the biscuit.
Nah, it wasn't the biscuit. That might have been the only safe thing, but that's neither here nor there. But y'all are right. LAX does need to come back to Impact. Like, I was listening to everything that's going on because they're being underutilized in AEW. AEW has a roster full of tag teams that they don't goddamn use.
So dumb.
You have what's considered 4 of the best tag teams in the world Both iterations could be seen as the best Impact tag teams ever, and it's an argument for Homicide Hernandez or Santana and Ortiz. You're absolutely right. Look at AEW. AEW has Santana Ortiz, Young Bucks, FTR, and the Lucha Bros. Those are
Four of the
considered
best tag teams.
in throughout the entire sport, and you don't know how to book them.
And all of them except for one has been AEW tag champions.
Why has Santana Ortiz not had those belts? I can tell you why. Chris Jericho. He is the reason that and I'm glad that they are now doing an angle which pushes them away from him. Because before this angle, I even said it. I said, yo, they will never be champion as long as they hang around Jericho because the focus is going to be on him. Can we hot potato this stuff a little bit? Like, damn sure can.
Boys.
The ass boys. There's some ass boys. I believe AEW grew too fast. They have too much talent and not enough TV time. Not doing house shows also hurts the exposure.
I've been saying that about them for about the TV time stuff since they started. You got too many people, and you only get, even before Rampage started, you only have 2 hours to put as many people as you can get on TV, and have most of that 2 hours is taken up. And for example, it's taken up by Inner Circle bullshit. It's taken up by, this is all the stuff it's been taken up by. It's
Taz.
Inner Circle. Taz. When you had Kenny Omega as champion, it was some part of the Elite. You had the Good Brothers on there and all their bullshit. You had the Bucks on there doing bullshit. If you don't got that, you got somebody debuting. You got a Bryan Danielson popping up. You got CM Punk popping up. You got Sting. You got Def Boy. On top of that, you still have people. You got Adam Cole, because he has everybody on top. Out of those 2 hours and a 2-hour show, you might 4 matches. And out of those 4 matches, every single damn person has to have a damn WrestleMania entrance.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 2-hour show. And then they're saying, well, we got another show. We're going to put this. We got Rampage. Rampage is what, 1 hour? 2 hours? And then you're doing that. And then the rest of your people, hey, watch them on YouTube. I'm not watching a 2-hour. Some of those dark and Elevation Dark, some of those shows are 2.5 hours. I'm not sitting on YouTube for 2.5 hours. I'm not watching that shit.
Only time I'm sitting on YouTube.
Most of these teams live on Dark, because the last time we saw the Ass Boys, that they had the tag team title match when they came out. They was like 53-1. I'm like, where the fuck they right now? I'm like, wait, hold up. They live on Dark. I forget. Like.
And Mongo just said, he said Dark and Elevation average 250,000 every show. Since that's where they put a lot of their tag team in women's wrestling, is that considered an L for them?
Yes.
Yeah. Dynamite is hitting nearly 1 million viewers a week. Rampage is around 600,000. That's 3 hours of television that's basically getting 1.6 million people. But your YouTube shows are only averaging, you put it together, 500,000 people. You don't have a streaming service, but you're building a library of matches for a streaming service that you're hoping that some streaming service out or has not yet been created is going to buy your content.
All right, if y'all see me get hyped for a hot second, it's because my boy Tama Tonga's coming out on Impact.
Gorilla tap bitch. What? And then overseas, they have an AEW streaming service, but it's only for the people overseas, unless you have other ways, VPN and all that junk. But if you don't have that, once you see this stuff happen, you don't see it again. There's nowhere, like, unless you go to one of these bootleg websites that we all know and love.
Right. We ain't gonna mention them because we want them to stay running.
Sure do.
Why overseas? Because if you haven't noticed by now, AEW wants to be New Japan so badly. So badly. Think about it. There was a
patterned
whole
themselves after them. Stable Wars.
right. There was a whole women's tournament, and we didn't see an entire side of the tournament because why? It was all for Japan. It was all for the Japanese competitors. Because AEW wants to be New Japan. Like legit. AEW wants to, for some reason, they feel that the way that they can compete with WWE is by being the American New Japan. That's not how you compete with WWE. Because New Japan is a completely different style of wrestling than what WWE is. New Japan, I guess you would say, is wrestling, whereas WWE is sports entertainment. And yet, what company is regularly working for New Japan? AEW is working with them, I guess.
For now, I get right. Right now, well, not right now because they're in this whole middle of this ROH. They're keeping ROH relevant.
Listen, the real forbidden door, let's be keeping a buck, is Impact. Right. Impact is the one who works with everyone. Impact is because you know why? Impact is like, yo, y'all want one I play? Cool. We just ask that you make sure that people know that person is from Impact.
That's what I did when I started losing my hand.
Also, and if you think about it like this, Impact has one of the most valuable things that is still around. Everybody else's, they got women's division, and they have everybody we watching WWE came from Impact. And if Impact goes under, they have a tape library that WWE would love to have. You can have a whole, you can have AJ. You can't watch all AJ Styles' career. You can only watch his WWE career on Peacock. You gotta go get Impact Plus if you want to watch his other stuff.
Samoa Joe. Cameron to the moon. Grimes. LA Knight. Like,
so WWE is playing nice. Now Impact is getting. Yeah, Bobby Roode doesn't have he has NXT. That's what he has.
I have more hits with Glorious than Bobby Roode does.
Damn.
With WWE. Okay. Bobby Roode, unfortunately, the problem with Bobby Roode is once the
music went off, we were
right. Once the nostalgia of the Glorious song wore off, that was it for him. That literally was it for him. And they tried their best teaming him with Dolph, but
right, that's me and Kenny's other tag team.
Right,
we're Dolph and Roode.
You know what I mean? Let's get. Bobby Roode is great, but Bobby, no, he cannot. No, he cannot. But on the other hand, Bobby Roode is the cause of us to actually getting the Roddy Strong that we have now.
Yeah. Bobby Roode was he was perfect for NXT. And he was great for his time being on the main roster when he was U.S. champion. He had that U.S. title run was his best. That was it.
Definitely was his best work. Sorry, folks, I had to stop the camera for a second. Right back.
But yeah, I can't wait to see what Impact does with all this this talent exchange stuff they're doing with ROH and all the other companies they're working with. But let's move on and talk about the Royal Rumble. Tito, how did you like the Royal Rumble?
That shit was so underwhelming.
It was a very, very underwhelming show.
Like Becky versus Doudrop was a waste
That match
of time.
was doomed. That match was doomed from the start.
The couple match was good. Women's Rumble was okay.
Right.
Besides Ronda winning. And then the WrestleMania sign almost killing the crowd.
Oh, yeah, the WrestleMania sign burning up everyone.
What else was on that card? Roman killing Seth was beautiful.
Yeah, that was literally the highlight of the show. They hyped up everything. We had the kickoff show, and they opened up the show with Roman coming out first, which kind of irritated me because I'm like, if Roman is coming out first, it better be a damn good reason why the champion is coming out first, because I like the old school. I'm under the old school mentality. Champion comes out last. So if the champion is coming out first, it better be a damn reason.
All the time. That shit irks me all the time when the champ comes out
and
first.
They made up for it because when I heard Sierra Hotel India Echo Lima Delta Shield, I was like, oh, I stood up.
Talking about the time. You talking about this weekend when we all damn near jizzed ourselves when we heard that.
When I heard that Shield intro, I'm like, yo, what is going on? And to see Seth come out in the Shield gear and Roman just looking like he saw a ghost. That was some great psychology,
storytelling. Yep,
great storytelling. The match was good because every point, like everything that I was looking forward to in that match happened. I was sitting up here watching, and I'm like, man, I really hope Seth does his reversal to the spear into that pedigree. Sure enough, he hit that because that's how he won that Money in the Bank when Dean cashed in on them.
Yep.
He hit that, and Roman kicked out. Even the night before, they did a great job with Seth basically telling him, you've never beaten me. You've never beaten me. I've always gotten the upper hand. I'm going to beat you on Saturday. And sure enough, he was getting in Roman's head. And he got in Roman's head because he choked.
He won.
Out. He choked Seth out. He still won.
Mm-hmm.
Seth still won. Roman might have kept his title, but the results say winner by disqualification, Seth Rollins.
And Seth brought it up on Monday when he said, yes, I didn't win the belt, but what I won was a rent-free space in Roman Reigns' mind.
He beat the shit out of him after that match. And even that was a great callback. He beat him. He got revenge on him for turning on him and joining the Authority. He beat the crap out of him for him and for Mox. And then they followed that up with what? The Women's Rumble? That was a downer.
I mean, it started off good, and then once they got to the Final Four, I was just kind of like, yeah.
You know what? I'm not going to lie. Of course, I wanted Bianca to win.
Right.
Bianca not win. If I could have picked somebody else other than Bianca, I actually would have liked to seen Mickie James win, just so at WrestleMania it could have been a title against title matchup.
Mm-hmm. And Greg said he was happy with that Final Four. It's the final two that pissed me off. Yeah. Charlotte versus Ronda. We don't want Charlotte to win. We don't want Charlotte to win because she's the SmackDown Women's Champion. And honestly, that final two reminded me of those first few Royal Rumbles when they started the event in the 80s, when you would have people like when you would have Hulk Hogan in it and he would be WWE champion, and you'd be like, why is he in this? Why is he in this?
Well, I mean, they had no woman for the Rumble. That's the whole reason Charlotte was in.
And Charlotte's in it, and it's like, well, she wants to pick her own opponent. It's like that's even worse. So
right.
Ronda, we have the Rumble. We get a bunch of women returning. We get Melina. She does her split. For the men, we saw the greatest split of all time because after Sasha eliminated her, Sasha ended up doing her split. Everybody went crazy. Sasha that became like the greatest picture of all time for Sasha. That trended for days. It's probably still trending.
Definitely, it's trending rent free in my mind. I tell you that right now.
Saved on my phone.
Bianca was the Iron Woman of that match. She was in there the longest. She was. I mean, the match was going. It was going as good as it could go. Like we knew it was not going to be the best.
A men's Royal Rumble match.
Right, it wasn't going to be a men's Royal. It was. We know what to expect when we see the women's matches. We know we're going to get nostalgia.
I was at least expecting Bayley or Asuka to return.
Yeah, I was expecting some other returns, and we got Ivory, which was cool. Ivory was that was a funny moment. That was a funny moment. We got Melina. She was cool. We got Alicia Fox. And we got the Bella Twins.
Once again, the Bella Twins irk me so much.
Because only one of them can wrestle.
besides the fact of only one can wrestle, they just like to me the Bella Twins are the epitome of some of the things that was wrong with the women's division in WWE before.
We didn't get no NXT call-ups, and we saw nobody from NXT in this match, and that really could have benefited. We could have really benefited from seeing Raquel. We could have benefited from seeing Io, Dakota, any of them, not named Candice LeRae. If you ain't hurt or pregnant, you should have been in that match in NXT.
Right. But I do want to talk about one thing: the men's Rumble where they fucked up the Kofi spot.
Kofi, women, we had all that junk happen. It kind of went downhill once Sasha got eliminated. We had Bianca. We got back up once we saw Bianca, and then as soon as we heard Bad Reputation. And we saw Ronda coming out there. We already knew what was going to happen. Everybody was pissed off. Final two, Ronda, Charlotte. Ronda wins. She points at the sign. The highlight of her pointing at the sign, unfortunately, the shit caught on fire. The shit caught on fire, and they had to evacuate that area because don't nobody want hot plastic hitting down on the back. That's a lawsuit.
And then what made that even worse was Becky and Duo Drops match, which honestly wasn't bad at all.
It got the unfortunate being behind that.
Right. And then with the sign being on fire, people, of course, wrestling fans are like goldfish, attention spans are less than 3 seconds. So the fire caught attention from people. So everybody was watching that. Because like I said, the Becky and Duo Drop match wasn't bad. I even liked the way Becky won the match by hitting that move off the second rope.
Yeah, second rope.
Like I actually like how she won the match, and of course, unfortunately, like you said, it was put in an unfortunate spot behind a match that took away a lot of momentum already from out the crowd, and a damn pyro situation, which is definitely going to make the crowd look around. So yeah, unfortunately, that duo caught the very short end of the stick.
So then we get that women's title match. Becky retains. We all knew Becky was going to retain. We follow that up with what I believe is it was not the men's Rumble.
No, it was Brock and Lashley.
Yeah, Brock and Lashley. We got Brock. I thought Brock was going to win. We knew, but I thought it was going to be Roman losing and Brock retaining, but they did. It was a good match. It was a good match. Lashley still needs to learn how to take a German suplex.
That's the biggest thing. Someone needs to teach Bobby Lashley how to fall.
Because that boy almost broke his neck.
Someone needs to teach him how to fall. Because there were so many times that Brock dropped that boy on his neck, on his shoulder, and that's because Bobby's sitting mid-air twisting because he's never been fucking thrown around like that for.
Suplex.
Like people kept saying, oh, Brock is dangerous. No, it's just that when you're that big and you're that dominant, you're not used to being picked up. And if you are picked up, you're picked up by somebody that looks like Kane, or you're picked up by somebody that looks like the Big Show or the Undertaker. You're not being picked up by someone you're saying. Brock and Lashley are basically the same size. And he's tossing you like a rag doll. You don't know how to react. The match was good. It was a hoss fight. And they made it even better. Because, I mean, they were really battling. And we see Roman come out of nowhere with a spear. And he just looks at Paul.
Paul hands on the belt like Paul hands on the belt like it is what it is. And
he beat him with that belt.
Well, we kind of knew that Paul was going to get back with Roman just for this because we kind of knew it because when there was that interaction between Roman, Brock, and Paul, and Roman pretty much told Brock, "Don't talk to him that way."
Yeah,
that was a leading into of okay, they're going to get back together, and this is going to be a heel turn on somehow. That was the kind of leading into it. That's the way I felt, but I didn't think it was going to be. I thought it was going to wait for the big moment.
Truth that way.
I thought the heel turn was going to happen at Mania. I'm not
right. And I applauded it. I loved that ending. Unfortunately, like fantasy wrestling aside, yeah, we lost points and all that junk, but it was great storytelling.
Yes, God,
great storytelling. Damn, these dudes at God could be. Oh yeah. Oh, Tama
could be world champions. They should be world champions. Are you kidding me? Like,
Tama is the man.
Tama is the man. The man.
Kenny. That's Kenny. Kenny is definitely Tama.
Fucking genius. Yo, listen, Tama. We have been big fans of God for the longest. And
I like Tama. He got one of my favorite wrestling shirts. We talking about 0 fucks given.
Right. Who is this dude with no shoes on kicking them again? Dude from Impact. What's his name again? My man, no shoes. The Karate Kid dude. I forgot his fucking name.
Speedball.
Speedball.
Bailey.
Yes, Speedball. Fucking unbelievable. Speedball, Mike Bailey. Step on Speedball's pinky toe. I bet you his ass slow the fuck down.
Fuck them barefoot bandits.
Oh, Jay White got to take a whole bath now because he's just getting kicked with all sorts of barefoot.
Methadone. Same shit. But yes, Tama definitely. I'm waiting for Bullet Club to show up in AEW to stop all the Kenny Omega Young Buck shit.
Yeah.
Kenny Omega.
They never resolved that storyline in New Japan because their contracts ran out. Because remember, they got kicked out of Bullet Club. Then they started that the Elite.
Right.
Yeah, but remember when they were in Impact, Jay White showed up and stayed them down, and we never got the resolution to that bullshit either.
Yeah.
Nah, they're not kicking Bay out of Bullet Club. Nah, Bay's a perfect fit.
He fits them.
And if y'all don't know who God is, They're the sons of the most dangerous man in the universe,
Yeah, even The Rock is scared of this guy.
Haku.
Don't fuck with you.
Right.
King motherfucking Haku.
God is Haku's chillins. So
Yeah, their
yes,
daddy is Ming.
yeah, they daddy man.
Well, one of them, Tama, was adopted, but still, that's
Right,
his dad.
right,
That's his dad because his dad adopted him. I mean,
right.
his
Haku adopted him.
yeah, Haku adopted him, and the only person Haku's scared of is his wife.
Right. And since I see you are an Impact watcher, yeah, he definitely still has Haku in his veins.
Oh yeah,
Oh, the other Bullet Club member that was with Chris Bay for a little while with the long hair, Hakia Leo, that's their other brother.
yeah. And then they all related to The Rock some way, somehow.
Right,
They're all Usos and everything else. They're all Samoan.
right. Everybody's a
Samoan,
oos.
Tongan,
Everybody,
They
all
all
y'all
annoy.
related. They're
everybody
all
oos.
everybody. They Tongans,
They all.
Samoans, they
They
all
all.
people.
They all part of that Samoan dynasty.
Right.
Yep. Everybody oos. And there's even Baby Oos in NXT right now fighting with
Yep.
Boa.
Solo Sikoa.
But
You said
then
Solo Ebola. What?
we should definitely get them versus the Usos at some point. That would be the best match ever.
Oh.
Yeah, Jake something done made a yeah. That's the podcast dream, man. Jake something is really turned himself into after that match that he had on with Moose. He has really stepped up his game and made himself a bigger star. But let's get back to the Rumble.
Yeah, Brock lost his title. So after that led us to not the main event that was the Royal Rumble. It led us to the match that everybody has been waiting on. Edge and Beth Phoenix versus Miz and Maurice, a.k.a. me and Maurice.
Edge and the All-State Mayhem, dude.
Edge with Beth Latifah.
Right.
I just want
Latifah
to say
Mayhem.
Maurice's ring gear that night was beautiful.
Yeah.
The match was I honestly feel like they could have switched. That match should have been second, and the Raw Women's Title match could have been that second to last match. But so be it. Edge and Beth won. Their daughters were in the front row. They got to see mommy and daddy wrestle. Happy for them, all that and the other. And then we move on to the Rumble, where we had AJ come out first.
And
that
put
had
on
me
a clinic.
worried. I thought he was gonna win. I'm like, damn, he might pull the HBK. He might
AJ
go wire to wire.
AJ definitely put on a clinic. He definitely put on a clinic. Oh, and right now we got Good Brothers and Violent by Design Jumping Bullet Club. Wow. Wow. So we still ain't gonna talk about how Gallows got Kevin Nash knees. Like the surgery that Kevin Nash had to fix his knees was really to take Gallows.
No, they had knee transplant surgery.
Right. Instead of face off, they had knee off. That's what happened.
Run me those knees. Run me those knees.
But the cameraman fucked up a spot that we all been waiting for in the Royal Rumble. We all know when Kofi Kingston is in the Royal Rumble, that ain't fair to Nash. Nash drinks high class whiskey. Gallows drinks piss in the can. Listen, Gallows likes dangly earrings, and we are real okay with that. But
I ain't messing with nobody wearing a dangly earring.
they fucked up the spot with Kofi Kingston because the cameraman was not supposed to catch Kofi's feet actually hitting the ground.
That was just an overall fuck up by both of them.
Right. So they showed the replay of it. That didn't help either.
Because they tried their damnedest to say he didn't get eliminated, and it's like, nah, we saw it. I definitely saw his feet hit the ground. And once that happens, wrestling being like predetermined, be damned. If we see your feet hit the ground, we can't sit there and say, no, that didn't happen. There's no way. Like, and even Kofi, like after the Rumble and all that, he didn't say anything for a few days, and even he said, like, hey, I shit happened. Like, it's all the times that he's done that junk. If this is the first time it's happened, hey, then so be it. But I mean, it just made for. I mean, if anything else could go wrong in a Rumble for that night, that just was just the icing on the cake. I mean, that Rumble was the whole show was underwhelming. So Kofi, that happening to Kofi was not shocking. It's like, yeah, another shitty moment for a shitty show. We didn't get any surprises when we got Shane. We had Bad Bunny. Whoopee. And we knew Bad Bunny wasn't winning. We know Bad Bunny will not be at WrestleMania because his tour is on both of those days. It's on Saturday and Sunday. So we will not be seeing Bad Bunny. I know Tito was happy. We will not be seeing Bad Bunny. There will be no Booker T Part 2. At one point in time, I thought we were going to get something of a shock. Big E came in there, and I'm like, okay, maybe Big E's going to pop up. Oh, we did get a second surprise. Drew reappeared. I didn't think he was going to be in the show because he's had a neck injury, and that those bad pipes came on. I'm like, oh, well, Drew might win. Nope. We're, 29, 28 or whatever, and we hear Brock's music, and here comes Brock. And sure enough, he eliminated everybody, including Shane and Bad Bunny. But shout out to Bad Bunny for dying. He died honorably, though. Like, he knew how to take a bump, unlike Lashley. But Brock won. So the winner for the night is the UFC. Both of your former champions won the Royal Rumbles. So congrats, UFC. You have undermined it and made all of the wrestlers look like shit. And Greg, like Greg said, so Ronda and Brock are the winners. It's a nightmare we had back during Ronda's first run. Difference is Brock is hella entertaining. Brock is hella entertaining. Brock has kicked it into a gear that I didn't know he possibly had. He actually cares again. I guess he's getting old, but he has become hella entertaining. He's funny. And I'm honestly looking forward. Some people are tired of seeing him, like seeing Brock versus Roman. I really never get tired of seeing them fight. And this time around, I'm liking the reversal. Brock is technically the face. Brock is the person we're supposed to be cheering for. Roman is the heel. Yeah, I love, like, Brock versus Roman is awesome. And even when we went to Monday night and they were hyping it up saying, hey, Brock is going to announce who he wants to fight. And we kept saying, we were thinking title versus title. And then I kept reading stuff. We kept seeing stuff that said, oh, they're not going to be title for title. Brock said, fuck that. It's actually it might be title for title.
I mean, it should. The rosters ain't that in depth anymore. Like, they need separate shows anymore. Like,
they've never needed separate champions. That they did the brand split and just instantly thought, oh, well, we have two separate shows. Let's have two separate champions. Where they just ignore the initial brand split in 2002 where you just had the undisputed champion going from show to show. They faced the challenger from Raw 1 month. They faced the challenger from SmackDown another month. They just act like that never happened, and they feel like they gotta have 2 world champions. And honestly, you really don't need 2 world champions. If you're the world champion, it should just be 1. You can have multiple mid-card titles. You can have multiple tag team titles. Not anymore. Those really need to be
the tag team, the tag team and the women need to be unified, and
both of those
mid-card belts.
The 2 mid-cards at this point, you need 1 separate tag like they had before when they were unified, and you need 1 women's champion. And like Mongo said when they had 500 members. Yeah, that's what I was just saying. They had when the brand split initially started in 2002, you had 1 champion. They made it once Brock won the world champion. He became undisputed champion. At some point in time, he signed an exclusive deal, which therefore ended up having Eric Bischoff pop back up with the old WCW title, and they renamed it the World Heavyweight Championship, and Triple H was the first champion, and that became the reign of terror throughout the years. That's where Triple H racked up most of his world titles, because he was always walking around with the big gold belt.
His favorite belt.
Basically, he was getting his Ric Flair on during that time. But then the brand split disappeared, and they had a unification match where you had Randy versus Cena. Randy won, and you had you had Randy walking around with both belts. You had Cena walking around with both belts for the time being. And then they brought in the WWE Championship belt that we all know and love. Then the brand split came up again. Couldn't call it a world champion. Couldn't call the belt world heavyweight title. So Mick Foley had the honor of calling it the Universal title. And now we have 2 world champions. You had whoever was WWE champion, and you had Finn as the first Universal champion. At some point, they're going to have to put those back together. Just be like NXT. Just be like NXT.
Yeah.
Just have one world champion.
1 world champion, 1 tag belts, 1 women's champ. Do something with the women's tag belts. Keep on with the little 24/7 belt or whatever the fuck they're doing with that.
Like, the only thing they need to be consolidating are the women's tag titles. Definitely need to be consolidated. There was no reason for there to be an NXT women and a main roster women's tag title. Have the NXT women tag champs fight the main roster women's tag champs. Boom. Combine those titles. Do not combine.
Yeah, there's not even enough team on all 3 shows.
Don't combine, because if any of you guys were watching wrestling back then, remember the Survivor Series when you had the Alliance versus WWF, and that whole pay-per-view was them combining. They were consolidating titles. They had the WCW US champion versus the WWE US champ, the WWE Intercontinental champion. And they were combined. They were just sitting up there combining titles throughout the night. And at some point after that, if you guys remember this, they got rid of the Intercontinental title. They got rid of the European title. All you had was a world title, a women's title, and tag titles. And at some point in time, they had the Intercontinental title come back as a mid-card title once they had the brand splits going again. So at some point in time, they're going to end up getting rid of these titles. Hopefully, it's at WrestleMania where we have Roman versus Brock, champion versus champion, and we have one ultimate champion, and that'll be the end of it.
Yeah, because now we're going to Elimination Chamber. We got Bobby going up against Brock, Seth,
Right.
Austin, Styles. I feel like I'm missing somebody.
You got Riddle. Riddle is the last
And
person because
Riddle.
Randy has disappeared. Randy has taken time off. So Elimination Chamber, that is the next show that will be taking place at Saudi Arabia. It is one of the 2 shows they put on in Saudi Arabia. It will be on a Saturday this time, so we will not be having to watch it in the middle of the work week. It'll be Saturday afternoon, fixed to 19th. It's in a couple weeks. For we blink. February is the shortest month. We'll blink, and February will be halfway over. It'll be time for Elimination Chamber. It's the last stop on the road to WrestleMania. So there will be all
because they
sorts
don't
of
have
shenanigans.
no pay-per-views scheduled for March at all.
Nope. So that's the final stop. A whole bunch of fuckery will ensue on that show because we have to figure out. Right now, all we got is Charlotte. It's definitely going to. We know Ronda's picking Charlotte. So right now, all we have is the only match at WrestleMania is Roman versus Brock. It's going to be for the title, but will Brock be showing up as WWE champion? And we know Charlotte will be there fighting someone. It could be Ronda. It probably will be Ronda.
Yeah, 99% sure.
Yeah, right. But I think
They got to figure out the rest of the cards.
Yeah, then we just got to figure. Yeah, this was my favorite part of the year where they start putting out the tea leaves of who's going to be fighting who at WrestleMania. I think for the tag title, SmackDown at least, it's going to be probably New Day, since Big E has been officially moved back to SmackDown. So sad to see Big E's singles run in, but I feel like we have been sufficiently electrified. Mongo's putting up all the stuff right now. We'll always be around. It's either going to be Wednesday or Thursday. We'll be on 8:15ish. Putting up everybody's handles. There's Mike's at Mr. Fresh Beard. There's Kenny's at Rock Rios 44. Mine's at The Right Answer. There's Mongo's. There's Greg's at Greg Bush SK.
Yeah, so it goes mine. Hit me up if y'all want some UTR merch.
Yeah.
Got some stickers.
Tito's always
some magnets.
He's sending out the magnets, the keychain. He's sending out everything with our logo on
sir.
it. Y'all be sure to support us. But yeah, everybody make sure you stay tuned. Yeah. Be sure to buy some merch. Tito got everybody. He'll give you the hookup. Yes, you
shoot
too.
Me a DM, Twitter, Facebook.
But yeah, everybody, you guys have a great rest of your evening. Stay warm wherever you're at. If you're in the New York, you're in the Northeast, you're over here getting hit with snow and cold, stay warm because it's definitely cold out there. But for myself and for Tito, everybody have a good night. Under the Ring Podcast out.